Typically called salary sacrifice, the official name is salary exchange, which absolutely makes more sense as you aren't really sacrificing anything but exchanging it. So salary exchange can be an excellent and very tax efficient, if not possibly one of the best ways to save into a personal pension. I'll cover the benefits, the mechanics, and the potential downsides of salary exchange. So hopefully I'll give you a really good understanding. So let's dive straight in. Salary exchange is an arrangement where an employee agrees to reduce their gross salary in exchange for non-cash benefits from their employer, such as pension contributions. This setup can provide significant financial advantages for both the employer and the employee, particularly when it comes to pension savings. And I'll run through a couple of practical examples of this for both a basic and higher rate taxpayer. So in a typical salary exchange arrangement, an employee agrees to a reduction in their salary by a certain amount. The employer then contributes this amount directly into the employee's pension scheme. Because the gross salary is reduced, both the employee and the employer pay less in national insurance contributions. This reduction in national insurance contributions is one of the key benefits of using it. So by reducing the gross salary, employees lower their taxable income, which can result in significant tax savings. For higher earners, this can be particularly beneficial as it might help them stay below certain tax thresholds. For instance, if an employee's gross salary is reduced from £35,000 to £30,000 due to salary exchange, they would pay less in income tax. The amount that would have been taxable instead is redirected into their pension, which can then grow tax-free. This is especially advantageous for those in higher tax brackets as it maximizes the amount of money going into the pension rather than to the taxman. Someone earning more than £100,000, if they bring their gross salary below £100,000, it can enable them to get their personal allowance back. Less income tax, less national insurance, and greater pension contributions. Salary exchange often leads to higher pension contributions since both the employee and the employer save on national insurance contributions. Employers might choose to pass some or all of these savings made back to the employee in the form of additional pension contributions, and this boosts the employee's pension pot without increasing the overall cost. Another key benefit for higher rate taxpayers under a salary exchange scheme is that they would not need to reclaim their higher or additional rate tax relief via self-assessment, and that their entire gross contribution is paid into the pension. I'll go into more detail via an actual example. The employers also gain from offering salary exchange arrangements. The reduction in the national insurance contributions for the employer can be substantial, providing cost savings that can be reinvested into the business or used to enhance employee benefits. So here's a nice, simple, practical example. I'll do two, one for basic rate taxpayer and one for higher rate taxpayer as well. So we've got £35,000 a year being paid in the 24-25 tax year. Obviously based on, in this current tax year, we'll have to see what happens post-October, 30th of October for the autumn budget. We've got 4% employer contribution, 5% employee contribution. This is a standard sort of set one basis for pension contributions, a total 9% going in. So obviously what happens is you've got 4% employer coming directly from the employer. We've got 5% employee pension contribution, which would typically be 4% off of net pay, and then tax relief of 1% to give you the 5% employee pension contribution. So before salary exchange, it would look like this. We've got gross pay of 35k, total income tax is 4136. You've got your employee NI contributions, and then we have here, we've got the employer national insurance contribution as well, for a total take-home pay of $27,320. This would result in a total pension contribution, gross employee pension contribution of $1,750, and a gross employer pension contribution of $1,400. So in effect, what would happen is that off of net pay, the pension contribution would go into the pension, and then the additional basic rate tax relief would be added by the pension provider to bring it up to the $1,750, resulting in a total pension contribution of $3,150. Now, if we do this via salary exchange, we have got a lower starting gross pay of $33,055. The total income tax is obviously lower because we have a lower gross pay. We have lower NI contributions, both for the employee and the employer, for a total take-home pay of $27,320. So the total take-home pay is exactly the same. But in terms of pension contributions, because we're making those NI savings, and there's a slight saving in terms of income tax as well, you have a gross employee pension contribution obviously is nil, because the employer is going to contribute the entire pension contribution themselves, and we've agreed that we're going to get a lower gross salary for a total pension contribution of £3,612. And just to be clear, 100% of the NI saving that's being made is going back into the employee's pension contribution. So the NI saving that's being made by the employer is being paid back in by the employer into the pension contribution. Now, as I said before, you can potentially have examples where the employer might retain that, or they might split it 50-50, or they could use that saving towards other benefits for the employees. Even if the employer retained 100% of the NI saving, the employee would still be in a better situation in terms of gross pension contribution. So if we look at a higher rate taxpayer, so we've got example here of someone on £65,000, again, same pension contribution basis, 4 and 5%, see gross pay of £65,000, total income tax significantly greater, clearly £12,000, NI contribution, £3,000, and quite an eye-watering amount of employer NI contribution of £7,714 for total take-home pay of £46,000. Pension contribution, £3,250 for the gross employee, £2,600 for the gross employer, for a total pension contribution of £5,850 for the year. With salary exchange, again, we are obviously taking a lower gross pay. Income tax is lower, employee NI is lower, and employer NI is significantly lower, for a total take-home pay exactly the same again, $46,307, but clearly a big difference in terms of pension contribution. So the gross employee amount effectively here is going to be nil, because obviously they're not paying anything at all. We've agreed a lower salary. And the gross employer pension contribution, again, with 100% of the NI saving going back into as pension contribution, would be £6,426, so significantly greater. Again, the higher rate taxpayer benefits significantly, and additional rate taxpayer would benefit from this significantly, because they're not having to do any tax returns, and not having to do this via self-assessment, because effectively it's all wrapped up within the salary exchange arrangement, because effectively we're taking the money out as a gross amount and it's going straight into the pension, so therefore no income tax has been paid on it at all, so you're not having to get the tax relief back via the pension as you would under a pre-salary exchange arrangement. And then very quickly, just two examples that I'd like to show you just the difference it can make, making that change from non-salary exchange to salary exchange, the impact that can have over the course of a retirement. If we just look at these two financial models, we're starting at age 24, we've got contributions going in under a personal pension arrangement, so £3,150 a year, and then I've got an example with just salary exchange as well, which is a £3,612 per year. Obviously under our model as far as personal pension contributions going in, I've run this just from age 24 to age 57. Those contributions are increasing each year by about 2.5%. So age 57 is 190,686. Under salary exchange, with just, as I say, exactly the same, but obviously just salary exchange, and they benefit from the national insurance contribution saving and the NI saving, approximately £28,000 difference between the two arrangements. And as I say, the net impact on the individual is exactly the same. We get the same net pay. So an additional £28,000 effectively between non-salary exchange and salary exchange. And I just want to show you let's have a look at the difference as far as a high rate taxpayer. I'm trying to make it a bit more realistic. I suppose we've got a 40-year-old, they're earning £60,000 per year from age 40, and so difference, let's run that through to age 67. So they stop contributing at age 57, but at state pension age they would have 333,000. If done via salary exchange, the difference would be at age 67, 351,000. So effectively £18,000 extra. Again, this is just assuming that they are contributing from age 40 to age 57, stop contributing, and then look to access their pensions around state pension age which would be around age 67 for them. So again, quite a significant difference, £18,000, exactly the same net pay, but just doing it by salary exchange over the course of retirement, growing at 6% per year. That would be the difference. Whilst it does offer numerous benefits, it's crucial to be aware of the potential downsides. One of the primary concerns with salary exchange is its impact on salary-linked benefits, since the gross salary is reduced. Benefits such as life insurance, which are calculated based on salary, may also be reduced, and this can result in lower payouts in the event of a claim. For example, if based on gross salary and they participate in salary exchange, the amount of coverage could decrease because the gross salary is now lower. Employees should also carefully review the terms of their benefits and consider whether the potential savings outweigh the reduction in those benefits. Another potential downside is the effect on mortgage applications. Lenders often will consider an applicant's gross salary when assessing their ability to repay a mortgage. A lower gross salary due to salary exchange might reduce the amount an employee can borrow. Suppose Master Pickles earns £60,000 a year but agrees to a salary exchange that reduces his gross salary down to £55,000. When applying for that mortgage, the lender will see the lower salary, which might limit the loan amount that he can qualify for. This is an important consideration for employees planning to purchase a home or remortgage. Now, employers must also ensure that the salary exchange does not reduce an employee's earnings below the national minimum wage. If an employee's post-exchange salary falls below the national minimum wage, the arrangement would be illegal. This is a crucial compliance issue that employers would need to monitor closely. For instance, if an employee is on the edge of the minimum wage threshold, engaging in salary exchange could inadvertently cause their salary to dip below the legal minimum, resulting in potential legal issues and fines for the employer. So salary exchange can impact calculations for maternity pay, sick pay, and other statutory benefits. For employees, the key advantages include tax savings and increased pension contributions, which can lead to a more secure retirement. However, it's essential to consider the impact on salary-linked benefits and mortgage applications. For employers, salary exchange can provide cost savings and serve as a valuable tool for attracting and retaining talent. Through it requires careful management and compliance with legal requirements.